everybody! Welcome to this week's class. You might notice a little bit of a change of scenery, so Virtue's been moving flats this week, so hence no class last week. Everything has been a little bit all over the place, but we're in and yes, explaining the slight change in backdrop. So I thought this week we would sort of refocus on some of those core postures that we go through each week, and just take a little bit more time in each of these postures and work into a little bit more prompts around the alignment for each of these postures, and linking some of these postures together, still in quite an energetic flow, but just really taking the time with yourself today to check in with your alignment and checking in that the postures feel comfortable, the postures feel right, and not rushing to do anything too different or too crazy, just working to kind of ground down through some of those more fundamental postures that we adapt and then build on in each of the different series that we do. So take yourself to a comfortable seated position. If it's not comfortable with your legs crossed, you can take your legs out straight in front of you, or you can kneel. You might want to have a block or a strap handy. Mine are not currently accessible with moves, so we'll have to improvise, but if you do have one and you want to use them, then now's your time to go and get one. And otherwise, just coming to sit in a comfortable position, closing down the eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just taking a moment to come into your breath. So feeling the rise and the fall of the chest as you breathe in and breathe out. We'll start just taking a few cleansing breaths, so breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more, breathing in through the nose and really sighing it out through the mouth. Breathing now in and out through the nose. Really slowing down the body, slowing down the mind, taking note of any thoughts, feelings coming up for you right now, just taking them to the side and coming into your space, a calm space in your mind. We're going to roll over onto our knees. We're going to start straight away in our child's pose. So we're taking the knees to the width of the mat, taking the toes together. We're going to sit down on our heels and start to walk the hands forward. So taking the fingertips on the ground, initially gazing forwards, and then planting the hands, dropping the forehead down to the mat or down onto a block if that's more comfortable for you. And keeping it a really active pose here. So we're walking the fingertips forward whilst we're sinking the hips back. So we're really rolling the shoulders down the body, keeping the thumbs facing in towards each other, middle fingers facing forwards, inching the fingers forwards. Replanting the head if you found more space in the upper spine. And just breathing here. Pressing down into the base of the hands, allowing the wrists to come up off the ground. And then we're planting through the hands, coming up onto our knees. So we're coming into all fours position. So the hands are directly underneath the elbows, directly underneath the shoulders. The thumbs are turning in towards each other, middle fingers facing forwards, knees directly under the hips. We're going to tuck the toes, we're going to lift the hips up and back, coming back into our downward facing dog. So allowing the head to hang heavy, the chin tucking down to the chest. We're sinking the weight back into the heels. Thumbs are facing in towards each other, middle fingers facing forwards, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, holding here. Drawing the kneecaps up towards the thighs, really engaging that quad muscle. Keeping the gaze down towards the navel. Keeping pushing the weight back through the hands, but more in towards the hips. So you're imagining someone's got a rope around the upper part of your legs, and they're using that to draw the upper legs and the hips up and back. From here, we're going to walk the feet up towards the hands, keeping the feet slightly apart. We're just going to bend the knees and just holding onto opposite elbows, just swaying slightly side to side. Releasing the elbows, we're going to uncurl the spine, coming up vertebra by vertebra to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. So we're standing here with our feet together, the toes, big toes are together, the heels can be slightly apart to create parallel lines down the outer blades of the feet. We're going to lift each of the toes up and plant them back down. This really helps to ground down through all four corners of the feet. We're going to lift up onto the tiptoes and then slowly take the heels back down. So we're engaging the legs, we're tucking the tailbone under. So the tendency when we're standing is to sort of take the hips forwards. We're going to tuck the tailbone underneath so that we're in one straight line. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears, hands coming down by the side. Inhaling. We're going to take the arms up above the head. Taking the gaze up towards the thumbs. We're going to exhale, folding forward over the legs, taking the hands down either to the ground or resting on the shins. We're going to start just coming into our forward fold. So wherever's comfortable for you, we're looking to keep our back nice and flat, so we're not coming so far down that we're rounding through the spine. So we're keeping the back as flat as we can, taking the chin down towards the chest. The legs are really strong. Holding here. Kneecaps are pulling up towards the thighs. Aiming for the thumbs, if your hands are on the ground, aiming for the thumbs to come back in line with the little toes. So this helps to really bring the body forwards over the legs. I'm going to inhale, come up to our halfway lift, taking the hands onto the hips. I'm going to inhale, come all the way up to standing. Take the hands down by the side. We're going to inhale, take the arms up once again. Exhale, folding forwards. This time we're going to inhale, take the fingertips onto the ground, looking forwards with a flat back. We're going to bend the knees, we're going to plant the hands, we're going to step the right foot, step the left foot back into our high plank. We're going to hold here in our high plank for a moment. So taking the thumbs again, facing in towards each other, middle fingers facing forward. We're going to really press into the ground. So we're pressing the ground away from us, minimizing that gap between the shoulder blades. Keeping the gaze down between the thumbs, keeping the legs really strong, working the weight forwards. So we're on the tiptoes, weight over the hands. We're going to bend the knees, we're going to drop the chest down between the hands. Inhale, coming up into our baby cobra. So here we're keeping the weight out of the hands. We're using the strength of the back muscles to come up. Taking the gaze up just above eye height. We're going to plant the hands either side of the chest, tuck the toes, sink back through our child's pose. So taking child's pose now with the hands coming either side of the legs, head down on the ground. So this here is our resting pose. So if we need
If you need to take rest at any time, come down here and just join back in whenever you feel you want to. And here we're going to come back up into our all fours. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips, coming back through our downward facing dog. From here, we're going to slowly walk the feet up towards the hands. We're going to inhale, keep the fingertips on the ground or on the shins, looking forward, exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, taking the arms up above the head. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Okay, we'll start we've warmed up a little bit in the body. We're just going to start taking a few sun salutations, just really getting the blood flowing, but working into the alignment in each of the postures. So taking our time. Inhaling, taking the arms up to the sky. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, planting the hands. We're going to step the right foot, step the left foot back to plank. We're going to drop knees, chest, chin, down to the ground. Inhaling, coming up to our baby cobra. Exhaling, plant the hands, tucking the toes, sinking back through child's pose and then straight up into downward facing dog. So holding here, we're going to plant the hands, middle fingers facing forward, rolling the shoulders away. For 1, 2, 3, really sinking back through the heels, even working to lift that big toe up off the ground if you can. 4 and 5, we're going to bend the knees, we're going to step the left, step the right foot forward. Inhaling, looking forward with a flat back. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Inhaling once more, arms coming up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping or jumping this time if you prefer. Back through your either chaturanga, bending to half plank, or taking knees, chest, chin, and then coming up either as before into baby cobra or up to upward facing dog. So if you're here, we're really pressing hands into the ground, we're lifting off the mat with our thighs off the mat, coming to the front flat part of the foot. We're then tucking the toes, sinking the hips back, coming into our downward facing dog. We're holding here. For 1, 2, keeping those kneecaps lifting. 3, 4, and 5. We're going to bend the knees, either step or jump to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms coming up above the head. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Okay, we'll do one more. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank through either your chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, folding forwards. So again, when you're folding, just working those thumbs in line with the little toes. Inhale, arms coming up. Gazing to the thumbs, tucking the tailbone, exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Okay, should be feeling a little bit warmer now. So we're going to take our sun salutation B. So bending through the knees as we sink into our chair pose. So again, tucking the tailbone, gazing up towards the thumbs. Holding here an extra breath. And then exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank through chaturanga or knees chest chin. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So from here we're turning our left toes in 45 degrees, stepping the right foot forward, coming into our warrior one. So checking in with our hips here, so hips are facing the short edge of the mat, arms are up above the head. Exhale, hands in front of that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping knees, chest chin or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, coming onto the other side. So right toes in, the left foot forward, arms coming up, warrior one. So again, that back leg really strong, pushing into the outside blade of that right foot, left foot facing forward, bending through that left knee, back leg is straight, shoulders dropping away from the ears, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, holding here. For 1, 2, 3, really pulling the kneecaps up to the thighs, weight going back towards the heels. 4 and 5, bending the knees, stepping or jumping forwards. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhale, bending the knees, sweeping the arms up, keeping the tailbone tucked. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. We'll do that once more. So bending the knees, inhaling, arms coming up through chair. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog. So really pulling your body forwards here. Taking the gaze up to the sky. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left toes turn in, right foot steps forward, arms coming up. Warrior one. Left leg is strong, right knee is bent, hips facing the short edge of the mat. Exhale, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let right toes in, left foot forwards, arms coming up. Warrior one. Back leg strong, left leg bent, shoulders away from the ears, tucking the tailbone here if you can. Exhale, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last 5 breaths, holding here. Thumbs turning in towards each other, middle fingers facing forward. Spread the fingers really wide, shoulders away from the ears, kneecaps pulling up to the thighs, holding here for 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhale, folding forward. In, bending the knees, arms coming up through chair pose. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Okay, so from here we're going to give everything a little bit of a shake out. Standing in Tadasana, recalibrating. We're going to take the weight into that left foot as we step off to the right. We're going to pivot on that left foot, turn the right foot out all the way. So we're coming into triangle pose. So first just checking in with the feet. So the right toes are facing forwards and the right heel's lining up with the left instep. So the left foot is turning slightly in. Hands coming out to the side, hips are facing still that long edge of the mat. Gazing over that right middle finger, we're going to reach beyond the right finger and then take the right hand down to the inside of the right leg. Whether it comes to the inside of the thigh, the inside of the shin, or fingertips resting on the ground, wherever you are is all good. So left hand reaching up to the sky, rolling the left shoulder away from the ear, holding here, pulling kneecaps up to the thighs for 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to center, pivoting on that right foot, left toes turning out to the side. Again, checking in with the feet, so right toes turning in slightly, left heel in line with the right instep. Hips facing still the long edge of the mat. Left middle finger out in front, reaching the body over that left hand and then dropping the left hand to the inside of the left leg, wherever it goes. Taking the right hand up to the sky. So really pressing down into the left and right big toes. Really using the toes there as a point of balance. So by firmly pressing those into the ground, it strengthens your base. Holding here, really working that the right hand up, almost behind the body to open the chest to that side. Holding here for 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. We're going to pivot on the feet once again. This time we're going to bend in that right knee. So you might need to take a slightly longer stance this time. So we're making sure that right knee doesn't overshoot the ankle. So it can damage the ankle joint there if we have the knee too far forward. So just step further forward if you need to there. So we're starting here in our warrior 2. So reaching, taking the gaze over that right middle finger, keeping the shoulders away from the ears in one straight line, so making sure that left hand isn't dropping down. Holding here, left leg is strong, kneecap pulling up to the thigh. Holding here, and we're going to drop that right elbow to the right knee. We're going to take that left arm up and over the ear. If it feels very comfortable here, you can take that right hand to the inside of that right leg, taking the gaze underneath the left armpit. So if you're here, you're working for one straight line between left foot and left top fingers. Holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. We're going to pivot on that right foot, coming straight onto the other side. So checking in with your alignment again, just making sure that right toe still turns in, left foot still lines up with the right instep. Initially gazing over that left middle finger, holding here in our warrior 2 for 1, 2, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, 3, keep Keeping that right kneecap pulling up to the thigh. 4 and 5. Dropping the left elbow to the left knee. Taking that right arm up and over the ear, gazing underneath that right armpit. Maybe dropping the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Keeping your gaze underneath that right armpit with a straight line from that right outside foot to the right top fingers. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Pivoting the feet again. So we're turning the toes in now. So slightly pigeon toeing the feet. We're going to come into our wide-legged forward fold. So taking the arms out to the side, inhaling and then exhaling, folding forwards, taking the hands either, you might wish to take a block or something here to rest the hands on. We're looking for one straight line between the feet and the hands. So initially gazing forwards and then exhaling, folding forwards. Keeping the chin down towards the chest, both legs, kneecaps pulling up to the thighs. Starting to bend the elbows, keeping the back nice and flat. And then from here we're going to walk the hands over to that right foot, opening the body round to the right. If it's comfortable here, you can take that right ankle with the left hand, take the right hand up to the sky. So we're really keeping the legs strong here, the gaze up to that top hand, holding here, keeping the kneecaps pulling up to the thighs, activating the legs. For 3, 4, and 5. Coming back down through center, walking the hands over to that right foot, right hand to the outside of the left ankle, left arm up to the sky, holding here. For 1, 2, activating the legs. 3, 4, and 5. Coming back down to the center. Inhaling, coming up to fingertips, gazing forward, exhaling, inhaling, taking the hands to the hips, coming all the way up. We're going to take the hands out to the side now. We're going to interlace the hands behind us, and we're going to draw the hands together, coming down the back, rolling the shoulders, shoulder blades in towards each other, keeping the legs nice and strong. Inhaling, gazing up slightly, and then exhaling, folding forwards. Again, taking the hands this time over the head, breathing here, keeping the kneecaps pulling up to the thighs. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, releasing the hands out to the side, and then stepping off back to the front of your mat. You're going to inhale, take the arms up above the head, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward, exhaling, planting the hands, stepping or jumping back through your vinyasa, dropping knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. You're going to bend the knees. You're going to step the right foot in between the hands, coming up onto the left tiptoes. So starting our runner's lunge here. So fingertips are on the ground, knees over the ankle. You're going to inhale, take the arms up, coming up into our crescent lunge. So squeezing that left glute, activating that left leg, keeping an eye on that foot. So planting the big toe down, finding balance through that big toe. Knee above the ankle. gaze if you can up towards the thumbs. Holding here for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands outside that front foot. Stepping it back to downward facing dog. Coming onto the other side, so bending the knees, gazing forward, stepping the left foot between the hands. Coming initially into our runner's lunge, so on tiptoe, on fingertips. Pressing the body off that left leg, and then inhaling, arms coming up to the sky, gazing if you can up towards the top hands, holding here for 1, squeezing that right glute, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands outside that front foot, stepping it back to plank, to downward dog. Holding here. We're going to bend the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. We're going to inhale, bend the knees, coming up through our chair pose. From here we're going to take a twist, so taking the feet, so feet together, hands coming down through centre. We're going to take the right elbow, left elbow, to the outside of the right knee, taking the gaze up over that right elbow. So keeping an eye on the knees here, so the left tends to overshoot, so keeping the knees in one line, working the hands into the centre part of the chest. Holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling back to centre, and then straight onto the other side. Right elbow, left knee, holding here, twisting round for 1, sinking a little deeper if you can, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhale, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank. Bending the elbows, coming either through chaturanga or knees gesture. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to bend the knees, stepping or jumping all the way through to seat, to seated. I'm going to take a few seated postures here. So starting our Janu Shavasana, taking the right leg in towards the left thigh, keeping the body nice and upright. If you have a strap here, it can be really handy, so keeping the left kneecap pulling up the thigh. We're going to reach forwards, maybe taking hold of the foot either side, or maybe looping a belt or a scarf or a strap or something around that foot. Inhaling, keeping the back nice and flat. Exhaling, starting to fold the body forwards. So again, just being careful not to round the spine too much here. So keeping the spine nice and straight. Better to come a little bit higher up on the leg and not be rounding through the spine. Holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming back up, swapping sides. Taking the left foot into the right thigh. Inhaling, elongating the spine. Exhaling, folding forwards. Holding here for 1, 2, each inhale, elongating the spine, and each exhale, folding a little further. 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up, swapping the legs. Once again, we're going to take the right foot, place it to the outside of the left knee, Taking the right hand behind the right hip. So left toes are curling in towards the body. Inhaling, taking the left arm up, and then exhaling, taking the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Taking the left hand to the outside of the right hip. Inhaling, elongating the spine, and then exhaling, gazing over that right shoulder. Keeping the hand close into the body. Feeling how that allows you to keep the spine nice and straight. So we're looking to twist with our thoracic spine, not our neck. So we're twisting with the spine here. So avoiding the temptation to look round. So following the position of the spine with the head. Inhale, coming back to centre. Taking the right leg out long, left leg over the top. Taking the left hand behind the spine, right hand up to the sky, right elbow to left knee. Inhaling, elongating, exhaling, coming round to the left. Holding here for 1, 2, 3. Keeping sure that right kneecap's still pulling up to the thighs. 4 and 5. Inhaling, coming back to the centre. I'm going to take the soles of the feet in towards each other now, coming into our butterfly Baddha Konasana pose. So keeping the feet, outside blade of the feet is together. We're using the thumbs underneath the soles of the feet to open the feet like a book, feeling how this allows the knees to come down close to the mat, allows the hips here to open. So holding here. Maybe closing down the eyes here if that feels available to you. Keeping the spine nice and long, keeping the chin just in a neutral position. Letting the breath really elongate here. Really slowing down our practice now. Slowly starting to draw the knees up towards each other. We're just going to come down now onto our backs. Giving the knees a little hug in toward the chest. Rolling slightly side to side. We're going to keep the left foot down on the ground. We're going to come into our reclining pigeon. So taking the right foot on top of the left thigh, knee falling out away from the body. Keeping the head down on the mat if you can. It might be enough of a stretch on that right glute to stay here. If it is, stay here. If you want a bit more of a stretch, you can start to take the left foot off the ground, reaching either behind the thigh or reaching behind that left knee, and then drawing the knee in closer to the body, letting the right knee move away from the body. Allowing the opening down that right glute. Again, keeping this as a really nice and passive pose, just really slowing down the body, coming deep into those hip flexors. Slowly taking that left foot down to the floor, swapping the legs over, so taking the right foot down, left foot on top, taking the feet off the ground, And then taking the hands outside either that right thigh or around the right shin, allowing the left knee just to move away from the body, keeping that left toe flexed. Holding here, keeping the breath nice and long in and out through the nose. And then when you're ready, releasing that foot down. Going to come into our happy baby now. So taking the feet off the ground, taking the hands inside of the feet, holding on to the outside blade of the feet. So the heel of the hand is on the top of the foot and the fingers are on the bottom side of the foot. So our knees are drawing down towards the hips, towards the ground. And we're just gently using the weight of the hands to draw the feet, draw the hips down closer to the ground. Letting the breath lengthen again here. If the head is lifting off the ground, just again finding a block or a pillow or something for the head. And then releasing the feet down. I'm going to take the right knee, squeezing it into the body, coming to finish in our easy spinal twist, where we often close. So taking the right hand to the left knee to the right, left hand to the right knee. You're probably already there, I'm sure. Taking the gaze over that right hand, drawing the knee across the body. So just keeping aware if that right shoulder doesn't lift off the mat. If it does, just easing off slightly with that knee. Allowing the whole of the spine to completely release here. So completely passive pose here. Don't need to do anything, just keeping an eye on where various parts of the body are and adjusting them as required. Inhale, coming back to the centre, squeezing that knee in, taking that leg out long in front of you, and then taking the left knee into the body. Taking hold of the left knee with the right hand, taking the left hand out to the side, and then opening to the side, taking the gaze over those left fingers, keeping that left shoulder pressing on the ground, taking the left knee across to the right. Closing down the eyes here if that's comfortable. Inhale and coming back to the centre. Taking that leg out long in front of you. We're going to bend both knees in towards the body and then bringing the soles of the feet together. We're just going to take a couple of moments in our Supta Baddha Konasana, our sleeping butterfly. So just tucking the tailbone down, tucking underneath the body, drawing the shoulders down, keeping the chin just gently tucked down towards the chest, keeping the back of the neck nice and long. So you're welcome to stay here as we move in a moment through to Shavasana. Up to you. It can be really nice to even pause here and take a few extra moments here if you want to then come back
to join us a bit later. We'll stay here all together for a minute or two. Really allowing the hips to soften and open. Letting the mind be completely empty here. And then when you're ready, if you want to stay there, you're welcome to, otherwise taking the legs out long in front of you. Coming to rest now in your Shavasana. So we'll just stay here for a couple of moments, allowing your body to sink to that further level of relaxation and stillness. So letting the body completely relax here. Being aware of any areas in the body that feel particularly tight or feel like they've worked, feeling any different to before you started. And just guiding the breath, guiding the energy to those areas. Starting to become aware of any of the smells or sounds or anything that you might have been filtering out. And just starting to tune back in to the outside world. Starting to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, bring a bit of life back into the body. When you're ready in your own time, rolling over onto your right side. Keeping the eyes closed, gently pressing yourself back up into a seated position. Again, flesh the buttocks out to the side, taking the hands resting either in the lap or on the knees, palms facing up. Feeling here, is the skin tingling? Are you feeling like you've got a slightly faster heartbeat than usual? Have you got a bit of sweat on your forehead? Is your mind still racing? Is your mind a little softer? And when you're ready, gently bringing the hands together in front of the heart center. Rubbing the hands together, generating some heat between the palms, and placing the hands over the eyes, feeling the darkness behind the eyes, then blinking open the eyes behind the hands, taking the hands in front of the heart center. Namaste, everybody. Thank you. As in other weeks, if you have anything specifically that you want me to include in these videos, then do let us know and we can accommodate. And otherwise, have a great week, drink lots of water, and yeah, see you soon.